Okay, good morning, students. We already have 100 participants here. So let's start our presentation on the comparison of the performance of Himachal Pradesh and Kerala on sustainable development goals on the basis of NITI index. Let me welcome Anaga Roy of Devika Sandosh of 30C to make the presentation. Anaga, please.
Yes, miss.
Okay.
Very respected teachers and dear friends, good morning to all. Welcoming you all to this PowerPoint presentation conducted by EBSB Club and Economics Department of Alphonsa College, Pala, on the topic comparison between the performance of Kerala and Himachal Pradesh on SDGs goals on the basis of NITI index. I hope I'm audible and is everything all right with my presentation?
Yeah, you are audible, right?
Okay, all right. So let's start. While reading this topic, there might be some questions that arise in your mind, like what is NITI index? What are SDGs goals? Why we need a comparison between Kerala and Himachal Pradesh? How can we compare Kerala and Himachal Pradesh? So throughout this presentation, we are going to find the answers for all these questions. So let's look at the why part at first. Why we need a comparison between Kerala and Himachal Pradesh? And the answer is Sardar Patel gave us Ek Bharat. It is now the solemn responsibility of 125 crore Indians to collectively make Shrestha Bharat. These were the words of our Honorable Prime Minister Sri Narendra Modi on 31st October 2015 during Rashtriya Ekta Divas. So, Ek Bharat Shrestha Bharat was a program introduced to enhance interaction and promote mutual understanding between people of different states or union territories through the concept of state or union territory pairing. So let's not make it too complicated. Unity in diversity is one of the most beautiful features of our country. And EBSP simply aims at securing stronger unity and integrity in India. And you can see the mission of EBSP to celebrate unity in diversity of our nation, to promote the spirit of national integration, fostering the sense of common identity by showcasing the rich heritage, culture, custom, and identity of our country, to establish long-term engagements, to create an environment which promotes learning between states. And here, the methodology goes like this. All the states or union territories in India have been paired for an entire year for a year-long process of mutual agreement. This helps to create an understanding of our cultures and also helps in enhancing a mutual bonding between the people. And EBSB clubs, they are simply some informal groups of young students who can lead this campaign and spread its message to all. And also this year, the states that we compare are Kerala and Himachal Pradesh. So EBSP Club of Alphonsa College, one of the active clubs, they invited Economics Department to do the same. So let's move on to the next slide, which is NITI Aayog. This is an important topic in public examination point of view. So students who are trying to appear for that, you just listen to this. NITI, I'll tell the full form. It's National Institution for Transforming India. So NITI Aayog was introduced as a replacement for the 65-year-old Planning Commission. See, a 65-year-old Planning Commission, which was launched in 1950 with the functions 5-year plans, formulating 5-year plans and financial allocation to state and ministry, they were replaced by this NITI Aayog. So why such a replacement? Eventually, the Planning Commission failed to be effective, mainly because of its top to bottom level of approach. There are many reasons, but this reason is said to be the biggest one, which means central government formulated plans which gave the state governments some goals to be accomplished, but the state government had many limitations and they could not meet the goal. Thus, the Planning Commission failed and got dissolved in 2015. So on 1st January 2015, a non-constitutional body called NITI Aayog, known as the think tank for a grassroots level understanding, was formed. And its main mission is said to be to foster cooperative federalism through structured support initiatives and mechanisms with the states on a continuous basis, recognizing that strong states make a stronger nation. So here you can see the term cooperative federalism is given much importance, and this was the major change that came along with the introduction of NITI Aayog. Bottom to top level approach was considered. That means the central and the state government that together took all the decisions and the plans, goals they have to accomplish, and it developed communication between the state and the central. So here you can see the functions of NITI Aayog. It goes like this: foster cooperative federalism, which is an important point in our topic, and also monitoring and evaluation, act as a resource center and knowledge hub, design policy and framework, program framework. Also, if we consider the members, there is a chairperson, which is always the Prime Minister, a vice chairperson who is appointed by the Prime Minister, at present it Rajiv Kumar. Then we have Chief Executive Officer, he implements all the plans, which is Amitabh Kant at present. Also, there are 4 categories of members: full-time members, ex-officio members, governing council, and special invitees. Okay, so that's about NITI Aayog. Now let's see what are sustainable development goals. These are the 17 goals to transform our world, or they are said to be the blueprint to achieve a better and more sustainable future for all. They are included in a UN resolution called the 2030 Agenda. I'll quickly read out the 17 SDGs, which are: first one, no poverty; second one, zero hunger; third one, good health and well-being; fourth one, quality education; fifth one, gender equality; sixth one, clean water and sanitation; seventh one, affordable and clean energy; eighth one, decent work and economic growth; ninth one, industry, innovation and infrastructure; 10th one, reducing inequality; 11, sustainable cities and communities; 12, responsible consumption and production; 13, climate action; 14, life below water; 15, life on land; 16, peace, justice, and strong institutions; 17, partnerships for the goals. So these 17 sustainable development goals, which were launched in 2018 with a deadline of 2030. So developed in collaboration with the United Nations, to measure the progress at the national and subnational level in the country's journey towards meeting the global goals and targets. Also, SGD India index is tabulated annually by NITI Aayog in order to evaluate the progress of states and union territories through data-driven assessment on the basis of social, economic, and environmental criteria. And also, in my opinion, it develops a healthy competition between the states and union territories. The main purpose of SGDs were adopted as a universal call to action to end poverty, protect the planet, and ensure that by 2030, all people enjoy peace and prosperity. So India has covered almost 2/3 of the distance to achieving these goals and needs to bridge the gap by 2030. And here you can see the 5 main pillars of SDGs, which are people, prosperity, peace, partnership, and planet. Also, SDGs are universal in application but are customizable. SDGs are different from each other, yet they're interlinked. And here, this is the 2020 index score that came along with the newspaper article of the Hindu. Just a minute. Okay. So 2020 index score is shown here, and one of the main important news on that day, that is Kerala on top again with the composite score of 75 based on the state's performance across the 16 sustainable development goals. And also below that, a score of 100 implies that the state or union territory has achieved the target set for 2030. Here you can see red colored states and green colored states. The red colored are the ones which were worst performing, that is at the bottom of the scale, and the green colored one shows that they were the best. Next to that is a table that shows Galway's top states. 17 goals along with the states that performed well in all those are listed here. So let's give a quick glance on the 2020 index, that is this year's one. So as per the records, it said that there was significant improvement related to clean energy, urban development, and health. Okay, but major decline in areas of industry, innovation, and infrastructure, as well as decent work and economic growth. This was due to the lockdown imposed by the government to contain COVID-19 pandemic. Kerala retained the top position with 75 points, followed by Himachal Pradesh and Tamil Nadu with a score of 74. Bihar, Jharkhand, and Assam were worst performing states. Mizoram and Haryana showed the biggest gain in improvement, which means they had a considerable leap on points. As per the reports, Tamil Nadu and Delhi have done well on improving per capita income of individuals. Gujarat and Delhi have given best performance in health sector, while Kerala and Chandigarh have done well in education. Now, there were some specialities for this 2020 index, which were social equality indicators were given more importance rather than economic indicators. So usually the economic indicators, like the previous years, in 2019 it was Gini coefficient, in 2018 it was Palmic ratio. All these were introduced to measure the economic inequality, but this year those indicators were omitted. The only economic indicator that we used was the percentage of population in the lowest two wealth quintiles. Okay, other than that, the social equality indicators were used, like the percentage of women and SC/ST representatives in legislatures and Panchayati Raj, and also the crime rates against SC/ST people. So, also in March, an assessment by the United Nations of the impact of COVID-19 on SDGs said the region India is part of may see rising inequality due to the pandemic. So, the lack of measurement of adequate economic inequality seems to be a miss this year. But anyway, also you can see an improvement in 6 points in India's total score. That is, in 2019-20 index, India had 60 points. This year, it's 66 points. So our target is 100, and if it achieves 100 by 2030, it means India achieved the target set for 2030. So that's about SDGs. And now the most important part of our presentation, comparison between the performance of Kerala and Himachal Pradesh on the third edition of Sustainable Development Goals. I welcome my friend Devika for the same.
Good morning all. Really, I what is SDG goals and what are the characteristics, etc. All of the performing have made an improvement in ways. Here, where the most performing is Kerala and Himachal Pradesh. Kerala scored 75, that is national. Hello.
Devika, there is disturbance while you're presenting.
Am I audible?
No, still there is disturbance. You are
Voice
audible?
breaking.
Yeah, voice break.
Here.
Devika, I'll do the presentation. You go with the audio.
Okay. Hello. Hello.
Yes, Devika, you're audible.
Hello,
Devika,
clear?
yes, ipo clear.
Comparison between performance of Himachal Pradesh on SDG 3. has scored 75, that's nothing more than average. He is in the second position, 70 scores. About Himachal Pradesh, the state is rapidly transformed the most bustling part of the country to one of the most advanced. We have a look at economic indicators examined in the NITI index and the performance of Kerala and Himachal Pradesh. The first one is education. Common feature of Kerala and Himachal Pradesh is the sector, and this is key role in their achievement in the rest of the states. Well, with respect to social indicators like overall learning, school environment, especially the school environment of girls, scheduled castes, and student tribes. Himachal girls are more than boys in school.
Devika, your voice is breaking. Smita miss,
Hello.
എന്താ ചെയ്യണ്ടേ? ഒന്നുകൂടെ ഡിസ്കണക്ട് ചെയ്തിട്ട്
Anaga, can you continue then? Devia's voice is breaking. Can you continue with the presentation?
Miss, I don't know how to present it. She prepared the topic, so Miss Devika ഒന്നുകൂടെ കണക്ട് ചെയ്താല് ശരിയാവോ?
Try then.
Hello? Is there any disturbance now?
No, Devika, it's clear now. Shall I go with the presentation?
Yes, you can go with the presentation.
Devika, I will present.
Anaga, then you continue with
miss.
the presentation. There is a great voice break in Devika's presentation. Net issue, I think. Can you continue with the slides? Is the mattress there in the slide? No?
Am I audible now?
Yeah, and then you try Devika for.
Devika,
Devika, are you starting? And then try.
Yes, Miss.
Devika, I will do the presentation. You explain, okay?
Okay, begin. Anaya will do the presentation. You have to explain, Divya. Start it.
Okay. We are comparing the most top performing states, Kerala and Himachal Pradesh. Kerala has scored 75 scores, and that is 9 more than the national average. And Himachal Pradesh had the 74 scores, and it is in the second position. Himachal Pradesh is a state that is rapidly transformed from the most backward part to the most advanced state. We can have a look at the several economic indicators that is examined in the NITI Aayog and the performance of Kerala and Himachal Pradesh. The first one is quality education. A common feature for Kerala and Himachal Pradesh is the high literacy rate of women, and this plays a key role in their achievements in the rest of the sectors. They stand well with respect to social indicators like overall literacy and school enrollment, especially the school enrollment of girls, scheduled castes, and scheduled tribe students. In Himachal Pradesh, girls are more than boys in schools. In meeting the constitutional obligation to make primary education compulsory, Himachal has now become the first state in India to make elementary education accessible to every child. The government is also very keen to transform the state into an education hub. Kerala is the first state in India to achieve total digital education by bringing primary schools to. Its higher education sector has been expanding in a roller coaster manner, but regarding the quality and excellence, it is nowhere near a world-class system. Unfortunately, Kerala is one of the states having highest educated unemployment rate due to the lack of employable skills and life skills. So, as a solution, mass immigration happens to countries with better economic opportunities. The second indicator is hunger elimination and food security. The people of Kerala and Himachal Pradesh depends largely on agriculture for their livelihood. Kerala is the top performer state in achieving zero hunger. The efficient functioning of public distribution system has ensured food availability for all, but the external dependence for food increases last year due to some policy changes implemented by the central government. While in Himachal Pradesh, its own food production is enough for its self-sufficiency. It also has a well-functioning public distribution system which provides food grains to both BPL and APL category. Majority of households in the state depends largely on the food received through this public distribution system in order to fulfill their food requirements, and it has a positive impact on poverty alleviation and advanced food security. The government of Himachal Pradesh also provided soil health card for all farmers and enlisted 100% mandis under e-market last year. Also introduced several schemes such as Bala Poshahar Top Up and Swasth Bachpan to prevent malnutrition among children, and Swaran Jayanti Poshahar Yojana for women to help the farmer producer organizations. Krishi Kosh was established in all districts. Kerala is also setting an example in ensuring no one goes hungry even during the pandemic. Not just the government, but too many organizations, individuals, and local groups are taking part in initiatives to ensure food for all. The next one is gender equality. As I have said earlier, the literacy of women in Kerala and Himachal Pradesh is high. And there was a news last week that 67.7% students in arts and science colleges of Kerala are girls, and more than 50% of the teachers are women. But there is a high unemployment rate among women in Kerala, and there is a low labor force participation rate. The MGNREGA scheme in Kerala is well functioning. The growth of MGNREGA has helped women to come out of the kitchen into the public sphere. It focuses mainly on income generation activities and engaging in a range of other activities such as health, nutrition, agriculture, and social development. In Himachal also, there are many schemes for the empowerment of women and gender equality. Women have a longer working hours than men. 50% of seats in Panchayati Raj institutions and urban local bodies are reserved for women for ensuring political participation also for women. The labor force participation rate of women in Himachal Pradesh is higher than many other states. When comparing with the other states, both of them are well-performing states, but in the Gender Development Index, they do not even reach anywhere close to the Valley of Unity, even though women are the high contributors to the economy. Equal distribution of income among different genders. The crime and domestic violence against women is a serious issue, as we are seeing in the newspapers, and majority of the cases are related to harassment within the household by husband, in-laws, and relatives. In this pandemic situation, the domestic violence had increased last year. The next indicator is equality in all its forms. The Himalayan state has achieved and maintained an admirable degree of equality across caste, tribe, etc. Historically excluded groups such as scheduled caste and scheduled tribe and women have better access to markets and services in Himachal Pradesh than they do in most of the other states. And it is the top performing state in India in reducing inequality in all its forms. Intergroup disparities are low in both the states. Kerala government provided many schemes for the growth of vulnerable sections, but there is an increased dropouts in the higher education, especially among the professional college students. Crime against the scheduled castes has also increased last year. Traditional settlements of vulnerable sections are located in low-lying areas, and it is another challenge. And therefore, when there is a high rainfall or cyclones or floods in Kerala, the more affected by these disasters are the vulnerable sections of the society. And they are not able to find a safe and secure place to settle. The next indicator is economy. Economic growth and sustainable cities. Himachal Pradesh is the top performer state in SDG, that is decent work and economic growth. Himachal has become the ideal in respect of development for the hill areas of the country. Its road connectivity system has emerged as the best even in the mountainous areas in India. The infrastructure for its industrial development are well laid out. Its rich forest resources and hydel resources are sign for its bright future. Himachal Pradesh witnessed a drastic reduction in poverty as a result of this high level of economic growth. The labor force participation rate has increased in both the states last year, the highest industrial alleviation. Himachal Pradesh and Kerala has a low per capita income, but both are prosperous states. As we know, even in the rural areas, there is easy access to basic services such as hospitals, educational institutions, and banks. The people in Kerala lives a high standard of living. Amartya Sen, a leading economist who has drawn attention to Kerala, has argued that the success and failure of developmental efforts cannot be judged merely in terms of income and output. What ultimately matters is the nature of lives people can or cannot live. And the next indicator is health. Steady progress is achieved in the health indicators of Himachal Pradesh, and it provides a well-organized and functioning public health system. Around 50,000 people are beneficiaries of Ayushman Bharat Pradhan Mantri Jan Arogya Yojana. It aims to provide free access to healthcare for low-income earners in the country. The hospitals in rural areas of Himachal Pradesh faces a shortage of specialized doctors and staff. In the case of Kerala, last year the suicide rate has increased to 24.3 in 1 lakh population. It is especially among children and adolescents. And in Himachal Pradesh, it is 8 in 1 lakh population, and the national average is 10.4. And there is also a rise in non-communicable diseases such as diabetes. Private healthcare is more expensive in Kerala and often unaffordable by the poor. They are spending up to 40% of their income out of pocket payments to access care. However, Kerala is forward-thinking in its health policy planning. It made a strong emphasis from the state government on public health care. Under the new system, the public healthcare centers were brought under villages in order to engage more closely with local communities and to respond to local health needs. The next is environment. The state has increased the awareness about forest management and conservation, and we can see a growth in their forest cover. But the high rainfall and flood remains as a challenge in both the states. Life loss due to extreme weather events have increased. In this event of COVID-19 pandemic, floods and other natural disasters are giving a double burden to the people, especially for the vulnerable sections of the society. The governments are entering into an era of heightened economic uncertainty. The state governments are revenue and expenditure on the one side, while experiencing ever-expanding cost of rebuilding the economy. So, in conclusion, while much progress has been achieved, challenges remain. 100 millions of people are still living in poverty in India, according to different indicators, from income to health to education. Coordination between central government and state government, that is called by ANACA, is necessary for attaining the SDG goals by 2030. Improving infrastructure such as road and rail networks can also help to alleviate poverty by attracting investment and creating jobs. Technology should ensure that no one is left behind in claiming the fruits of development. Much of India's development agenda is mirrored in the SDG. Our national plans are ambitious and purposeful, such as planet. Report says that India will become the third biggest economy in the world by 2030. And that brings to our end. Thank you everyone for your attention, and a special thanks for Smidhamas for giving us this opportunity and a proper guidance.
Thank you, everyone. Though we had some disturbance in between, you can see Anaka and Devia presented in a well-structured manner. They made the presentation and very well. They made their effort to make a comparison between Himachal Pradesh and Kerala on SDGs on the basis of this NITI index. I thank you, Anaka and Devia. Also, thank you for everyone being here. Thank you.